Is it just soap? It's bubble. Don't eat it.
Hey Maniacs.
Hey, Maniacs.
Welcome to a mini episode, a mini spoiler-free episode of Midsomer Maniacs for the new episodes from season 21.
So this is season 21, episode 2, The Miniature Murders.
Miniature.
They went in a completely different direction here than I thought they were going to go. I thought it was going to be one of those we've seen on CSI and a number of other shows, including Father Brown, the recreation of crime scenes in miniature.
As a teaching tool.
Yep, but that's not what they're doing here.
Though the coroner does kind of joke about it, right?
A little bit.
They do just enough to nod to like say, we know that those things exist. We're not stupid. We're just not talking about that.
I got to tell you that the coroner, Fleur, I think they've made a conscious effort to feature her more in this season.
Yeah, definitely. So that's one thing that we've noticed. Another thing that we've noticed in season 21 in general is I think they're much more cinematic.
Yeah, this has a different, like right from the credits, how it looks is different.
They have a ton of fun with the credits in this one.
Yeah.
I can't remember an episode where the credits were projected onto items in the opening scenes where they were like put in situ in the scene like they were in this one. They're on doors and items in a dollhouse.
The title sequence is taken so much more care.
Yeah, and there's lots of little fun views of like John through the door of a dollhouse and
a dollhouse within a dollhouse.
Yeah.
That's that whole thing.
They have lots of fun with that. So it's a pretty episode to watch.
Absolutely. Though it's at the Midsomer Museum of the Family, which I guess that means like a children's museum.
I think it's a museum about family life.
I guess it's a weird. When we read the description, especially the descriptions on BritBox, it was confusing as to what the name of the museum was.
Just in general, the episode descriptions on BritBox are quirky. I guess to say the least. On Acorn TV, you get descriptions that are cut off in the middle of a sentence that you can't view the rest of it. And on BritBox, they seem to be rewritten for brevity by somebody who's not a native speaker.
Yeah, there's some punctuation ills there.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, it's the Midsomer Museum of the Family.
And we see some familiar faces.
Oh, yes.
Right away here, including Claire Holman, who plays Fiona Boy-Vazan.
And where do we know Claire Holman from?
Where don't we know Claire Holman from?
Well, she's definitely been in other Midsomer
she's
episodes.
Definitely been in. She had the interesting cooking school.
Yes, that couldn't help Joyce.
Yes. And helped in other ways for other people. But also she's best known as being the coroner on both Morse and Lewis.
Yeah, best known to us anyway.
Yeah.
That's where we've seen her. Another familiar face for Midsomer fans is Eleanor Braun, who plays Maxine Dobson in this episode. She also played Izzy DeKetville in Dark Rider in 2012.
Dark Rider?
Yeah. She and her husband are like Lord and Lady of the Manor, and they're very kind of quirky and odd, and there's like a historical reenactment going on at their manor. But they seem to be completely disconnected
with
from
the
all
rider
of it.
that has no head?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's really fun in that episode.
Absolutely.
So some familiar faces and some new places, and
they do a great job of making it look interesting and keeping you guessing pretty well.
I'd say it's a good plot.
So.
Yeah. As we did last time, we've got some things to look for. If you want to watch these new episodes of Midsomer Murder like a Midsomer Maniac does, there's a few things that you may not have noticed. Or maybe you did because you really are a maniac. Do you want me to list them off?
Absolutely. And just a reminder, this is spoiler free here.
Spoiler free completely. So my first one isn't so much of something that maybe you might notice, but something I'd like folks to try to answer with us. We discover in this episode that there is a Midsomer University.
Yes, we do.
That's new.
Can I go to Midsummer University?
So I wonder what folks think the degrees there might be.
Oh, that would be interesting. I would assume they had a criminology department.
I would think they've got like a BA in how to be a killer. If it's Midsummer.
Step 1, wearing black gloves.
Yes. So there are a few little hints around when they're on campus as to what kind of degrees they offer. Let's see if people pick those up.
Yep.
Another interesting thing to look for is that in Jemima's Soft Play Center, you may have noticed some things that are not so kid-friendly.
Oh.
It's an interesting place, to say the least. There's
It
a
is
lot of
indeed.
bubble machines in this episode.
Yeah. Is England in love with the bubble machines
Apparently,
right now?
little kids are.
And there's a kid who tries to eat one of the bubbles. I'm like, are they flavored or is it just soap? It's bubble. Don't eat it.
Anyway, Jemima, the crazy bird lady, has a soft play center, and there's something there.
Oh, Jemima is fantastic.
She is
an
angry bird lady.
absolutely fantastic.
There's something there that you may have noticed that really isn't meant for kids. So that's an interesting thing to look for. I also wonder if you're a maniac, a real maniac.
A real maniac.
If you noticed what debut album all of the kids at Midsomer University are super psyched about.
It's an exciting album, that's
See if
for
you
sure.
can find that. And then there's also a hint that we've never seen before
Okay.
as to the history of Midsomer County.
It's a brief history of Midsummer County.
In this episode, you can find the date that Midsomer County was founded.
Yes, roughly.
It's there.
Yep.
If you're looking for it.
There's a lot there.
And the last thing I have is a puzzle.
Oh, puzzle. I like puzzles.
This is a puzzle that I've not been able to solve. So it's not like I've created an awesome puzzle. I wish I had, but no, this is a puzzle presented to us by Midsomer Murders. And I'm wondering if our listeners can help us figure this out.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so we have a relative of a familiar character in this episode.
Yes.
Alexander Beauvoisin.
Yes.
He is a realtor, real estate agent, estate manager.
That
character.
name sounds familiar.
Doesn't it, though?
It does.
That's because he is the great nephew of Olive Beauvoisin.
Now, Olive Beauvoisin shows up in 2 episodes.
Yeah, for the first time in Death's Shadow in 1999.
Okay.
Okay? So that's an episode that aired 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay? As soon as Alexander says that Olive was his great aunt, I'm like, okay, pause this.
So,
Because that doesn't work out. So here's what I want folks to figure out.
okay.
So my assumption is that we can use the age of the actors as kind of a rough age, right? A rough guesstimate.
We'll give that.
So Alexander Beauvoisin is played by an actor named Roger Barkley, who I could not find his age anywhere on the internet, but I'm going to estimate that in this episode, he's about 40. You think that's fair? Go with 40.
We'll go
That's
with
where
40.
my math is
okay,
based on.
okay, we're
Don't
going with
disagree
40.
with me.
Hey, I think 40.
I think he's 40. Yeah. Now, in 99,
He looks older than me.
when Olive Beauvoisin was in the episode, she's played by Eileen Davies.
Yes.
Eileen Davies was born in 1948. So in that first episode, she is 51 years old.
Really?
Yeah. She's
Wow,
older.
she looks pretty good for 51.
I would have guessed about 10 years younger than
Yeah,
that.
so would I.
Okay. So in current day, in this Miniature Murders episode,
Yes.
if Olive was alive, apparently she's not,
Okay.
she would be 71.
71. Sweet Jesus.
Okay.
Okay.
So if she's going to be 71 in 2019 and her great nephew, Alexander, is around 40, how is she his great aunt? What is the mathematical family relationship there that makes that possible?
We tried to figure this out. We did. And, you know, it's the word great. And if they got
Yes.
rid of that word great,
It'd be fine.
It would be easy peasy.
She could easily be his aunt. There's 30 years between them,
Yeah.
age-wise. That would not be a problem. But she's his great aunt. And apparently became extremely successful in those years. In that 20 years, she went from being somebody's admin
To a real estate mogul.
an extremely wealthy woman.
Yeah.
So, listeners, put on your thinking caps, your genealogy caps,
You might have to make a chart.
and come up with a feasible way that she is his great aunt when there's only 30
And
years between them.
it's the same character name. He says the character name. We're immediately like,
They are absolutely...
how is that possible?
Absolutely supposed to be related, those two characters.
Yeah.
So if you're a maniac like us, maybe you can figure it out.
And
I
that's
have
such
one theory, but
That's
I'm going to
such a
save
great
it.
callback.
Yeah, it is.
It's such a great callback.
And it's kind of a good thing to know that Olive, who was kind of mousy, turned out okay.
Yeah, I think we had a question about how she turned out
Apparently
at one
she
point.
died a little young.
71's a little young, but you know what? She had a bed of money, apparently.
She was successful in the years in between.
Yes.
So, just to recap, look for things in Jemima's Play Center that are not so kid-friendly.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of degrees do you think Midsomer University offers? What debut album are all the Midsomer University kids into? When was Midsomer County founded?
It's in a brief history of Midsomer.
And how can Alexander Beauvoisin be Olive Beauvoisin's great nephew?
Such a great name, such a great story.
Yeah. So we look forward to your answers to these questions and your thoughts about the episode in general. We enjoyed it. We hope you will too.
And just to let you know, we'll be back with another mini episode next week, and then one following the week after that to finish off season 21.
Yeah. All right. So until then, maniacs, enjoy.
Bye, Maniacs.
Bye, maniacs.
Well, this is 20 years ago.
It's 30.
No, 1999 is 20 years ago.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm confused. Edit that out.
Yeah.